State basketball legends ejected. I'm Kelly Nash. Today is Monday, February 20th, and here's what's going on in the ACC now.
How do you feel like you're being prepared as far as every team bringing their A game to you guys every night?
This Tar Heels team, they've got one of the deepest pitching staffs in the nation. Never mind the fact that they've won 15 of the last 16 games. How do you see them faring in these regionals?
You know what? This is one of the more confusing teams to me in the NFL. You know, they lost 3 games in overtime by a field goal. They lost 6 games by 1 possession. I think this team really needs to just continue to be smart in the draft, continue to build a team for the future. I don't see them winning more than 5 games, if that.
I didn't hear you mention Mike Scott. He's making quite the case for ACC Player of the Year. You don't see him going in the first round?
Cam, you lead the league in sacks. Talk about your ability to consistently generate pressure off the edge.
This year's NBA Finals between the Heat and the Thunder pits one big three against another. So before we find out if it's LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh, or Durant, Westbrook, and Harden who prevail, let's check out these top 5 ACC trios who have all won national championships. We tip off with your number 5 trio. Juan Dixon, Steve Blake, and Lonnie Baxter, 3 stars who turned Maryland into national champions in 2002. Welcome to our ACCDN studios. Kelly Nash joined alongside World Series champ Joe Borcher here to give out his postseason baseball awards. But first, we got to start with Florida State Seminoles James Ramsey. Took home the ABCA Player of the Year. Sherman Johnson singled in Giovanni Alfonso from second base in the bottom of the 10th to give Florida State its first regular season sweep of the Canes since 2002. I agree. Now, you were confident a 4-team playoff would pass. It did. Do you see down the road there being an 8 or even 12-team playoff?
Well, Kelly, this is...
Every year people come into this season thinking this is going to be it for the Houston Texans. They're going to break out, make the playoffs, and you know what? Every year they're wrong.
Reds at Phillies, Aroldis Chapman and his 100-mile-an-hour fastball are trying to protect Cincinnati's 1-run lead. But watch the ball hit by Jimmy Rollins slips past Jay Bruce. That was the 4th and most costly Reds error. They now trail Philadelphia 2-0 after losing 7-4. This is Kelly Nash of the ACCDN bringing you Sunday's NCAA Men's Soccer Championship game. Charlotte taking on top-seeded North Carolina. Second half, no score. UNC's Ben Spies taking on multiple defenders and catches goalie Clay Davis sleeping. A couple plays later, there's a Terrell Stoglin shot for you. Maryland caps off a 15-2 run, up 8 with under 1 to go in the first. After a breakout season with the Virginia Cavaliers, Mike Scott is looking to translate his collegiate success into a solid professional career. The ACC Player of the Year runner-up spoke to the media on Monday about Thursday's NBA draft. With a 20-yard catch at the end of the first quarter, Leonard Hankerson became just the 3rd receiver in UM history. The Panthers get a win in overtime for the 2nd time on this homestand. The NBA draft lottery began in 1985. The highest Boston College Eagles players taken were guards Troy Bell in 2003 and Dana Barros in 1989, both taken 16th overall. I'm Kelly Nash, and that'll do it for our ACC Now. One goal, returning to the College World Series. This has been the motto of the Florida State Seminoles all season. As they begin the long journey to what could be their first baseball championship in school history, let's take a closer look at the 2012 Seminoles by the numbers. We lead off with the number 21. Despite making the most College World Series appearances of any other school without winning at all, Seminole baseball is still one of the most successful college programs in the nation. They've been to 21 College World Series and appeared in the championship final 3 different times. And on 15 of the 21 trips to Omaha, Mike Martin has been the head coach. Next up, 15. With Sunday's Super Regional sweep of Stanford to clinch their spot in Omaha, the Seminoles are now 24-6 against non-conference competition this year. And get this, a perfect 15-0 against non-conference schools outside the state of Florida. So if they can avoid the Gators, guess what? The Noles could be home free. How about 172? Florida State is 172 and 111 all-time in NCAA tournament play. Only 2 other teams have more wins in NCAA tourney play and the College World Series than the Noles. Texas with 225 and Miami with 177. And if FSU takes the crown, they could even pass the Canes this year. Let's clean up with number 5. The Noles and Arizona Wildcats will face off Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern in the opening round. The pair have already met 5 times in Omaha, including twice in 1986, when Arizona beat FSU in the College World Series, including a 10-2 victory to secure Arizona's 3rd national title. Finally, let's check out Twitter for some Noles refocusing on that #1 goal. Jace Boyd tweets, "It begins at Hauser, we finish in Omaha. It never ends." And Sherman Johnson getting his game face on with business trip to Nebraska, all gas, no break. For the complete College World Series schedule, visit theacc.com. Today is Tuesday, June 19th. I'm Kelly Nash, and here's what's going on in the ACC now. The North Carolina Tar Heels announcing their tentative men's basketball league schedule for 2012-13. The ACC schedule includes 18 games for the first time, and of course a home-and-home series against 7 ACC teams, including Duke. Speaking of the Blue Devils, they released a portion of their schedule, which is highlighted by a neutral site showdown with Kentucky at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Former FSU point guard Luke Laux will begin his pro career with the 2-time defending Latvian League champion team. Laux, as you know, helped lead the Noles to their first ACC title in school history this past season. The Seminoles will take center stage in Omaha tonight when they square off with UCLA in an elimination game. The winner moves on to face undefeated Arizona in the finals of their bracket. First pitch is slated for 8 Eastern on ESPN. Duke Jr. and 3-time ACC Player of the Year Lindsey Duncan was named the Golf Week National Player of the Year. Duncan won 4 tournaments, had 10 top 10 finishes, and a 71.07 stroke average, second best in school history. FSU's Maurice Mitchell and Virginia Tech's Alexander Ziegler are semifinalists for the Bowerman Collegiate Track and Field's biggest award. Mitchell successfully defended his NCAA 200-meter title earlier this month, and for the second straight year, Ziegler won the hammer throw at the NCAA Championships. NC State is taking their rivalry with North Carolina to the billboard level. The Wolfpack has posted several billboards around Raleigh area and entrances to major highways stating "Welcome to our state," a possible challenge to the rival Tar Heels and the state's other FBS schools, Duke and Wake Forest. Expect the rivalry between the Heels to heat up October 27th when they'll face off on the Gridiron in Chapel Hill. Keeping with the pack, let's close with our ACC Now and Then. The highest NC State basketball player to be drafted is David Thompson in 1975, who went #1 overall to the Atlanta Hawks.